What's up, brother? So it's another day out here in Honolulu, bro. Check out this view, man. Absolutely beautiful. Like, I love this place so far. You know, just being able to wake up and just wake up to all this, man. You know, back home where I'm at, it ain't like this, and I love it, man. It's so different. The lush green. It's a great environment for sure. Now, I was getting ready to start some work, but a thought popped in my head, and I had to let y'all know about it. And so I was watching this video by this guy called Jack Hopkins. He's one of my favorite influencers, and I'm actually inspired a lot by his story. You know, the fact that he's from UK and he moved to Koh Samui, Thailand when he was 23, and he literally had nothing to his name, like no fame, nothing. He just moved, he booked a ticket, he had nothing. He started building his personal brand, and he told himself that he would not come back until he was successful, right? And so I think the power of a commitment is super, super important. And I've kind of had my own times where I've had some positive experiences with having a commitment. I've also had some negatives, right? Like, for example, everyone's probably had a time in their life where they had a goal, right? And they weren't 100% sure about the goal. They didn't know if they could do it, you know? They weren't sure. And so they gave themselves this sliver of a way out. You know, they gave themselves this sliver. It doesn't have to be much, but they were like, in their mind, they were like, okay, if this happens, I can always come back. There's always a backup plan, you know? And you might have done that too, and I've done that for sure many times, right? And honestly, bro, one of my biggest sales seasons this past summer was that same mistake that I made. I was going for a six-figure summer. I was going for 20K months, and I gave myself a sliver of a way out, and it was very logical, man, very logical. It told me that, hey, you're not yourself here. You've been sleeping less, you've been eating less, you've been training less, you haven't trained. You're not yourself here, man. And I was already in that mindset of doubt and frustration and a fear of not hitting my goal. That was already in my mind stirring, and all the while I was still performing, you know? I was still selling I was still making money, but all the while those thoughts started to creep in. Cause like, here's the thing, man. It's a lot easier to let those thoughts creep in when you have that sliver of a crack, you know? When you go into something thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna try hard for this. If it doesn't work out though, worst case scenario, I'll come back. If you have that mindset, man, just know that those thoughts that are always gonna be there in your head when you're going for hard, big things, they have a crack that they can just go into. You know what I mean? So like, just know that those thoughts are, it's like there's a wall, right? Like, this is how I like to imagine it. Those thoughts, doubt, fear, insecurity, they're all there. They're in this wall. You know, if you've ever watched Attack on Titan, you might know the analogy. You know how the wall Maria, wall Rose, all of that stuff, and then there's like a bunch of Titans right outside just waiting to fucking crash that shit as soon as there's a crack in the wall. That's how I like to think about it, you know? Because there's like if you have a crack in the wall, man, if you have a sliver of doubt, if you have a sliver of a backup plan, that shit's gonna get right in. Because when times get tough, which is what happened with me, you know, things happened, we had permit issues, we had to move, and man, I admit it, man, I came back, I quit, you know, and I made some money too, but I didn't hit my goal. And so, like, looking back at it, there is a level of what if, right? And I don't want any of you to go through that either, you know? I own my mistakes, man, but I think what everyone needs to learn from this, and from Jack Hopkins, and from even things that I've done, because the first summer I did sales, I was a different person, man. I was a degenerate. I was smoking hella, and I was just a different version for myself. So for that summer was more of a commitment, and I could see the difference instantly, man, because that summer, I told myself, hey, I'm going here, because it was in a different state, right? I told myself, hey, I'm going to Baltimore, and I'm not coming back until I transform, right? And I know that sounds corny, whatever, but that was my mindset, right? I went in there seeking change, and I didn't even care about the money. I didn't care about the number. But the biggest thing is I didn't have any crack. I didn't have any backup plan. I said, I'm going there. No matter what happens, I'm staying there. There is no shot, no chance in hell I'm coming back, right? That's why those thoughts didn't come in. And they were there. I felt them my first summer. I felt them a lot, but they never came in and tarnished my mind. And so I think anything in life, man, I feel like you need to just go all in. Burn the boats, you know what I mean? Like, just burn the boats. Burn everything that you think can hold you back. No backup plans, bro. Fuck the backup plans, because, like, bro, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a mental thing. One thing I learned about sales is it's all mental. It's all psychology. It's all mental. So, like, it's more of a mental thing to have a backup plan. Like, if we all think about it logically, we all do have backup plans. I mean, the majority of the world is living a backup plan. You know what I mean? But mentally, if you let that get to your head, that's when that shit goes south, you know? So go all in, burn all the boats, man. Don't leave yourself any question. And it's a constant process, man. Like, I've had my ups, I've had my downs. I'm still learning. I'm 22, and it's all a journey, man. That's the beauty of it, man. The beauty's in the journey. The beauty's in figuring out these things, right? And I think it's beautiful. So I hope that helped y'all. I hope you can relate to that, and I hope if you're in a point of your life where you're in a situation like that, you're feeling kind of you want to do this but you're scared. Maybe you want to move cities but you're scared. You might question. You're like, what do I do if, like, something's not working out? You're like thinking to yourself, oh, maybe I can come back. I'll just try it out. You know, it's not that big of a deal. Nah, bro. Like, this is your wake-up call, you know? Just fucking lock in, bro. Just burn that ship. Whatever ship is you're telling yourself, man. Burn that shit. Go all in, man. But yeah, hope that helped. Peace out, y'all.